Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new here, thanks a lot for stopping by and checking it out. Now, as I alluded to in my previous video, we got a little different type of treasure hunt this time. Instead of metal detecting, I was able to get down to the Susquehanna River bank up here in my area and do a little looking around for some Native American artifacts. And as luck would have it, I lucked out, found a few cool things. So I'm going to show you those clips, and I'll catch you back at the end of this and we'll talk about it. Well, hello everybody. This is a different type of hunt today. For the first time in 2025, I am actually down at the Susquehanna River bank. I don't know why I haven't gotten down here before. This summer has just been crazy. As you can tell from some of the metal detecting videos, I haven't been out nearly as much as I wanted to. But today's my first trip down on the rocks, looking around for some Native American stuff. And I just came up on my first artifact. Now, as you can see, I'm looking at weeds, but the weeds break off into some rocks here. And I'm kind of scouring, looking along the edge here for anything that may have eroded out of the higher bank down into the lower. And I know it's going to be hard to spot, and I guess you got to kind of have the eye for it. But hold on, now I lost it. It's right in here. Hold on just a second. I see a base. Oh, I'm sorry. There it is. There it is. I was looking in here. I stopped to just kind of look around, and I see the base of an arrowhead sticking out there. Let me try to get these leaves out of the way. You can see it right here. Now, it just moved, so I'm hoping it's whole. Let's see. Oh, looks like it's got a little break on it. Yeah. Could have been impact fractured. Let's wash that off in a little bit of water and see. It's small, you know, but let's see what we got here. Oh yeah. Yeah, it looks like it was impact fractured. You see that flake driven off straight from the tip downwards, and it's hinge fractured like that. That's usually a sign that was probably broke shooting it at something. So, all right, first artifact for me of the year, I believe. But we're going to continue. I got a lot of this site left to look at. It's a place that I have been to many a times, and just over the course of the year, the river coming up and down, it will bring new stuff out. So, all right, it's a good start. We'll see you on the next. All right, guys, I just came up on a good one. As you can see here, you see the fire rock? If you've ever watched any of my videos before on anything with Native American archaeology and on down the riverbank, I always talk about looking for fire rock. There's a piece here, there's a piece right here, okay? And then well, that's a piece of flint, but it's not worked or anything. There's some other pieces. Here's one right here, okay? So you find the fire rock, and then amongst the rocks you'll start finding flakes, you know, pieces of flint that were chipped off while they were making arrowheads. But once in a while you walk up on one that's perfectly visible. Now, this wasn't here the last time I was here, and I haven't been here probably in a year, but you can see right there, it was washed out. That there was washed out from up in here. As the river comes up and down and laps against the bank here, it slowly erodes stuff out and pulls it down. And that's where you're getting all the fire rock and stuff down here. It would have come from up here on the bank. But anyway, let's check this thing out. Look at this thing. Nice little point. Jasper. That thing's made out of jasper. Let's oh, I'm not walking over there in the mud. It's all mud. There's like a natural little spring here. You can see there's water actually flowing out of the ground. And I don't know if that has anything to do with why there's a site here, but check that baby out. That's a nice little point. I'm not sure on the type, little corner notch maybe. But beautiful little point. Seems to be intact. And based on the stuff that I find here, This is a site that I've never found anything older than like the Susquehanna Broadpoint series, which would be, you know, into the middle and late Archaic, or transitional Archaic, really. Most of the stuff you find down here is going to be stuff that was shot with a bow and arrow. So this probably would have been on the tip of an arrowhead, be a true arrowhead, you know. All right, not bad. You just got to go slow, and I say slow and low. And I search these banks. I'll start off, you know, right up at the top up there, and I'll work back and forth, and I'll kind of do a couple of lines up and down, and then kind of move on to the next little section and keep repeating that. And every once in a while you get rewarded with something like that. So, all right. Well, I'm happy with that. We're going to continue. I don't have very much more of this place to look at, so I'll probably come back down here in the next day or two. It's supposed to be a little bit cooler, depending on if we get any rain. But all right, we'll see you on the next. All right, still going here. Can you see what I see right in the center of the screen? Come down closer to it. I thought it was a flake, but I'm almost positive it's going to be an arrowhead. Watch, I'll feel like an idiot if it's not, but I think, oh yeah. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Kind of just like the last one. It's small, and again, probably a woodland point used with the bow and arrow. Again, not sure on the type. I'll have to do a little research when I get home, but so what? That's 2.5 today. And I've been down here maybe, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half. So not bad. We got another one. This is what we're down here looking for. But all right, not too much more. I'm going to continue. Look at these little cuts in the bank there. And that's how I found this one, just right along the exposed rock around the cut there. So, and again, there's fire rock and flakes in here, so got to keep looking. All right, we'll see you on the next. All right, I'm actually on my way back now. I went down to about where the end of the site is, but you see this thing right here? I saw a little bit of this here sticking out, and I thought it looked like a flake, and I pulled on it. Now I already pulled it out. I just stuck it back there because I didn't know what it was, but that there's part of a blade. I don't know. It's definitely something. Looks like they had some problems here trying to get this hump off, because it's like step fracture, but that's definitely shaped. You can see the chipping on this side, you know, the flint work there. I don't know what that was turning out to be, but it was turning out to be something. So little tool, maybe even a preform to an arrowhead, I don't know. But another artifact. We'll take it. I'll clean everything up and show you a little wrap up after I get done here. So, but all right, still finding stuff. It's going to be getting dark probably within a half an hour, so I'm just slowly heading back. And I still check the areas that I went over, because I did go past this and didn't see it on my first pass up through. But you're coming back at a different angle, you know, you're coming back from a different direction, you're seeing things from a different way, and sometimes you pick stuff up. So all right, hopefully there's more. See you on the next. All right, guys, still heading back to the path to go up to the car, and something I walked right over. These are very tough to spot. I mean, I've been doing this since I've been about, I don't know, maybe 15. And I mean, I'm in my 50s now, so I've been looking for a long time. But that there, nice little point. Looks like it has just a little, yeah, just a little bit of damage on the bottom there, in that bottom corner. But still, almost all of it's there. But I walked right over this on my first pass, heading the other direction. So, and again, look at the fire rock right there. There's some there. And there's little flakes here and there. Here's another piece right here. So, yep, there's a flake sitting right down in between those rocks. See? Oh, no, my bad, glass. There's also, unfortunately, a lot of that looks like flakes. And black leaves will fake you out. When the leaves hit the ground, they turn black and they lay flat against the rocks. And sometimes they look just like points. There's a piece of flint that was like a little nodule that was busted up. I mean, there's just flakes around, and you know, the points are kind of intermixed with them. And once you train your eye, you know, you'll start picking them out. But it's definitely not easy. I mean, there's been a lot of times, more times than not, where you're finding these things and it's kind of like you're looking at a piece or a color, and then you grab for it and, you know, you find it. You find out that it's a point. Very rarely do you see them just laying out in the open on the riverbanks like that. Usually, you know, you gotta move something around. But all right, we're gonna continue. I'm, like I said, on my way back. What was that? Nope, nothing. On my way back to the car, so maybe there'll be something else, another surprise. If not, we'll see on the wrap up. All right, I just picked up what I thought was a flake. You can see that there for the focus. Just a piece, but it's actually got some flaking there on the edge, so this was probably used as a scraper. Sorry about the camera work here. Let me see if I can do it this way. There. You see the edge wear, or the edge work all the way around there. So this was definitely used. It was used as a scraper, so it's a tool. And again, walking back, so I walked over this before. It happens. But like I said, you come back at a different angle and you see things a slightly different way. And you pick up on things. So always be looking down. You never know. But all right. We'll see you on the next or on the wrap. Okay. Those were the clips. You saw the finds, and I just wanted to give you a quick close-up of the artifacts that I did find. Now, I believe this was the first clip. It's a broken arrowhead, and you can see, as I talked about a little bit when I found it, that looks like an impact fracture. So this was probably broken when it was shot at something. Either hit a bone or, you know, missed and hit a rock or something. You can see the step fracture on it right there, and this flute, almost, it's not a flute, but it's a channel flake driven out, and it snapped at the top right there. There's the other side of it. So that was broken through use. Now, as far as types on these, this could be a broken Susquehanna broadpoint, although I'm highly doubting it. This area that I hunt has been mainly woodland type artifacts, woodland period. So you're looking in, like, you know, 2,000 to 3,000 year old range. Now, anything older than that has been very elusive at that site. I really don't find anything much older than the transitional archaic. So you're going like, I don't know, maybe 4,000 years old, roughly, in that period. So these things are probably going to be younger than that. But anyway, there is a beautiful jasper point. Again, not quite sure on the type. At first I was thinking it was a Jack's Reef, but usually the Jack's Reef have a more pronounced, like, tang off of this corner notch here. So I'm not entirely sure on that, but it's small. So I'm still considering that this is probably a true arrowhead versus like a spear tip. Would have been shot with a bow and arrow. And this one is really neat. And the reason I like this one is, look at this inclusion that's in there. You see this little dotted line? Goes all the way up and around the point. That's just a natural inclusion in the rock, but it looks like a nice white dotted line going through there. You can see it on the other side there. Let me see if maybe I turn the light on. Might be able to see it better. You see those dots? To me, that just looks really neat. And then I found this, which is, you can see the serrations on it. And it's got a little bit of a damage right there at the stem. But it is a corner notch point. I was thinking that this was possibly a Vosberg, which would put it in the very late Archaic. Again, you're looking at like 4,500, 4,000 years old, if it's that type. If not, it would be a little bit younger. And as far as other artifacts, I may not have gotten on the clips, but this is a scraper. I think I did take a clip of this. You see the edge work all the way down it there, and you can also see when I flip it over, you see all this edge work around here. Now this would have been used to scrape hides, probably as a thumb scraper. They would have been scraping, flesh off of hides with it, anything that they needed to scrape off. And you could tell by the obvious flakes taken off to make that flat edge. This here, I believe, is a preform. They were trying to make something and either lost it or abandoned it. They may have thrown it out because look at that ridge that's right there. If you know anything about flint knapping, when you start getting a ridge on a piece like this, it's very hard to get that high spot out. And if you don't get it out as you're making it, you tend to have these like humpback shapes on them. And if you can't get them out, they may just throw them away and start over. And this here, I believe, is a part of a small drill. You see how this side kind of expands outward like this? They're called T drills because they kind of resemble the letter T. So it's broken right here. There would have been a small piece right here. And then this would have been the drill part. It would have came up and formed a drill. And I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It is a flake, but it is worked on both sides. You can see the flaking on both sides. So I do believe it's part of a tool. And then this was part of some blade. Obviously broken. All we got left is the tip there. And it's made out of that chalcedony. And I don't know if you can tell. Maybe my camera's not focusing. But when you hold it up to the light, it's that cool material that's translucent. You can kind of see light coming through the sides if it's thin enough. So anyway, that was the hunt. It was a successful hunt. It was the first time I've been down there, the Susquehanna River there this year. Don't know why I haven't gotten down there. It's just been in the middle of the summer. The water was up a little bit, but now it is just super, super low. I'm going to try to get back down there in the next week or so. I was there another time after this at a different site and didn't find anything there to take any clips. But now's the time to go looking before the leaves fall and covers up things on the ground and before the river goes back up. But all right, that's it for now. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Do me a favor. If you've liked the video, hit that thumbs up button for me and consider subscribing if you like this kind of content. I do this and mostly metal detecting videos, but you'll see some of these in there from time to time. But thanks a lot, guys. Stay safe out there and good luck if you're a treasure hunter. We'll see you on the next adventure.